Well, I am Julie, Center Director at Brain Balance Achievement Centers in Danvers, Mass. And I'm sitting here with parent Maureen, whose son has completed the program. And I think, Maureen, if you wouldn't mind, say a few words about your child or your son and your experience here at Brain Balance.
Sure thing. Sorry.
Sure, yes, go ahead.
Okay. Jason has mild ADD, and we've known this for a while. One of his teachers suspected it in 5th grade, but they weren't quite sure, and by the end of the year they thought maybe not. He was a kid who's always liked to socialize a lot in class and was a little bit distracted, but by the time he got to junior high, it was very evident that he had ADD. Functionally, we could see that. He just couldn't focus to get through his classes or even for his homework. His homework would generally take from after school till bedtime. At that time, I'm a naturopath. We did a natural treatment, neurotransmitter balancing, that helped him focus so he could come home and then get through his homework without all the breaks that he used to get. So we thought everything was pretty fine through junior high. And then high school, we were seeing troubles again, where socializing in class and just having a harder time functioning and keeping organized. But his grades were decent, and so we kind of let things go till the past year and a half, where we were seeing more behavior changes in Jason in terms of being more oppositional and defiant. And I've got to say, that's what led my husband and myself to seek some help, because we thought this is beyond what's normal. We've raised a couple other teenagers, and we just thought we need help with this. Yeah. Well, our counselor pretty quickly recognized that his ADD was probably at the root of the behavior. So we did a psych eval for him, which just pretty much confirmed what we already knew. He's got mild ADD, and we're left with, this was last spring, he's a junior, when he was a sophomore in high school. We were left with just suggestions for how to cope with ADD, and I found that hard to live with, because it's hard enough, we have older kids getting through college and life without any challenges. Sure. That the challenges going along with his ADD, even though it was mild, were significant in affecting his ability to function adequately, and I didn't want to I wanted more for him.
You wanted him to reach his potential.
Yeah, I wanted him to be able to function optimally. He's a smart kid, he's a hardworking kid. And fortunate for us, it was about that time that we learned about Brain Balance Center, that it was going to be coming. And it didn't take too long to see that was something that we really wanted to consider for him. Just reading the book, Disconnected Kids, very quickly I felt this, he's offering here, Dr. Malillo, a reason for what's happening with these kids on the spectrum and a solution for how to deal with it that all resonated with me.
Right. And Jason also had some anxiety.
That's
and
right.
There were certain subjects in class where he didn't focus and fooled around. And I think I remember Jason saying what he wanted out of the program is to make the honor roll. I mean, that was sort of
maybe he said that to you.
16-year-old's goal.
Yeah, it's something he's come close to being able to make. And the old Jason, before the program, like you said, would not be able to get through the day with focusing on all his classes. We could never get him to record homework regularly in a planner.
Right. That multitasking.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just turns out he just didn't have the ability. So if he tried to focus more in one class, then it would go to another class. So no matter how hard we tried, he would have to drop a couple levels, in some subjects, and he's a smart kid. So it was just really interfering with his ability to be his best.
So now, what were the first things that you noticed, first changes that you noticed?
I would say early on in the first month of the program, Jason started being able to focus through classes. And I got to say, this is the first time ever he completed one term, probably before he completed the brain balance program, that we heard no reports from teachers, and I specifically asked him about socializing in class. None. This is the first term in high school that he didn't get multiple interim reports, which are sent out when they're not doing as well as they should be doing, or there's concerns. First time. He's still not gotten any. This is the first time that he's used his planner regularly.
Wow.
This is the first time, he's made huge progress. The first time that he can sit in class and process what's being said, take notes at the same time, and be able to answer questions when the teacher asks questions. That's huge, huge for Jason. So that means now he's learning in class, where before it was hard for him to learn in class. But the assessment, when we came to Brain Balance and first did the assessment, it showed that he was only processing auditorily at a much lower grade level. His reading skills were at an elementary school age, and this is a junior in high school.
So he obviously is very intelligent, but just struggled to bring that information into his brain and process it and then react to it. So he almost had to sort of stop and listen and hear and interpret the information and then react. So it was, of course, causing a lot of anxiety, slowing everything way down. He was struggling, working much harder.
Right.
And he had to, and it was all sort of more mechanical.
And in Jason's words, doing homework before Brain Balance, he'd often spend a lot of time trying to understand one subject. Perhaps if he had a test, he'd be trying to teach himself. He goes, I spend all that time and then still not get it, and then not have enough time to do his other subjects' homework sometimes. So working very hard.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to get even the test results, because it shifted me from, well, he's smart, I know he's got some ADD, but why can't he be doing better,
Right.
Than he is, to, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's done as well as he has.
Yeah.
Really, more than the psychological eval, it helped me get in his shoes and see, wow, well, he didn't have the strength in his body. No wonder he had a hard time mowing the lawn or shoveling snow, which we couldn't understand for a boy his age.
Well, he had a lot of nutritional issues as well, which, we addressed during the program, if you want to speak for
That was a blessing, because part of the program was to test them for food sensitivities. And even though I'm a nutritionist, I didn't realize that was what was going on with Jason, because they're very sneaky. You don't get symptoms right away to foods that your body isn't handling. It can pop up over the next few days. So Jason tested, had a lot of food sensitivities, and what we found is, once we knew that list and he stayed off those foods, we saw a different Jason. We saw everything go away in his behavior, as far as the oppositional tendencies, the defiant, that led us to seek help last spring.
Right. So that's great. And now it's been 2 months since Jason graduated from the program, and he still continues to do well. And so do you have any words that you'd like to say in terms of, speaking to other parents that might be interested in the program? Would you recommend it, or have you recommended it?
I have. I've recommended it. I live an hour away from here, so, and having a 17-year-old, we needed to get his commitment. You have to, for this program to succeed, it's a proven program, so all you really got to do is plug your kids in, and as long as they're willing to work,
Right.
then they're going to get results.
Well, it's obvious he wanted help. So.
Yes, he did. When he even saw those test results and he realized that something could help him do better, that motivated him. We asked him if he'd be willing to commit, and he agreed. I highly recommend. I wish Jason had been able to go through this at a younger age. But I will tell you, one of the benefits of being older is he can articulate a lot of the benefits he's gotten from the program as he was going along. He can now sit there and say, hey, I can make connections now. And he's not just talking about school, but as a teenager, he watches a lot of movies that have difficult plots, and he can understand them now. So he's thrilled.
Huh.
He's thrilled.
I never quite thought about that end of it, but
No, but as a kid, no. It's just the fact that he can recognize how he's is making connections, and being at a higher level in school, there's a lot more ways that the results are getting measured in his grades, in his behavior in class. And what he's saying as far as the ease, much greater ease of doing his homework. Sometimes it gets done in class. I mean, this is a kid who wasn't even always doing it at home, so it's dramatic. I would describe it as life-altering for Jason and for us as his parents, that we now know that he can be more the Jason he was created to be. He can live more optimally, which is what most parents are going to want for their kids.
Maureen, thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I'm so glad for both you and Jason.
You're welcome. I hope I didn't rattle on too much in the beginning there, but